Good morning, and my name is Evan Eady. I'm here with Joseph Carrabba, the CEO, President and Director of Bond Resources. Today, we'll do a quick corporate update and get the latest developments on the high-grade, past-producing Mary Kay mine. Please note that there may be some statements that are forward-looking and that investors should not act on this information without consulting an investment professional. Furthermore, please make sure you visit the corporate disclaimer on the website under the corporate governance section. But without further ado, Joe, how's it going?
Hi, good morning, Evan. Nice to see you again, and to all the audience, thanks for your time today.
Joe, it's an exciting time for the company, but before we get into the current updates, why don't we step back and give our new prospectors a quick intro into what Bond Resources is doing in Idaho.
Well, thanks. We acquired the property with an option to a purchase lease, which is pretty common in the industry as we go forward and explore the old Mary Kay mine. This is a property that's 450 acres. It's private land, which is very important from a permitting standpoint and very favorable for us in central Idaho, near a little town called Elk City, all of 200 people that live there. It's an old historic mining district. There was a German mining engineer that came in the early 1900s, started this mine, named it after his wife, the Mary Kay. He went back to Germany before World War II. He had a stroke, unfortunately, and died and never came back. And the widow never did anything with the property. It passed through to a forestry company who was only interested in timbering from there. So the mine laid idle for all of these years until we picked it up about 2 years ago, and we've been doing some pretty exciting exploration on the old mine, Evan.
That's a great backdrop. I mean, private land, the permits, which I think we have in place, and Idaho as a jurisdiction is very hot right now, and it sounds like a lot of untapped potential. But let's focus in on the Mary Kay property. Have we confirmed a high grade, or have we confirmed, a gold bearing high grade system?
So we've gone through several different steps with it. We have all of Mr. Kleesaddle's old maps with where he mined all of the tunnels and adits and drifts and stopes that you would find, and also the grade of the gold that he was mining at that time. So far, everything we've done has been remarkably close from the surveying of the workings all the way in. We initially were in the #1 adit. We got in safely as far as we could go. When we sampled that, we came up with pretty much the same grade, Evan, of about 3/4 of an ounce, or 0.67 ounces per ton of gold, and a lot of it was free gold. This is a nuggety deposit. It's not finely disseminated, so when you drill it, it's extremely hard to get the statistical probability of all of those nuggets in there to give you the appropriate grade, either high or low. As you can imagine, a 3-inch hole going down through the vein, trying to hit nuggets that are disseminated, randomly, that goes across. So we did have a drilling campaign last summer to back up what we had found with our initial sampling. We found the structure where it was supposed to be. It's and the widths that we were looking for that came with it. The gold was spotty, as I say. We had some areas where we hit the grade, and we had some areas where we had nothing but structure. We consulted a lot of experts that went with this on the nugget gold effect, and really determined with what we're doing now, the next stage is the bulk sample. But we're encouraged enough with the 2 types of tests we did to move forward with the bulk sampling methods that we're going to use going forward.
Yeah, and again, this kind of theme of untapped potential. We've drilled the property, we've hit some high grade, wasn't exactly what we wanted, so bulk sampling is the next step. Most of the mine workings and details from the maps were confirmed, and I believe the Mary Kay vein was wider than firstly anticipated. And now going underground for that bulk sample of, I believe, 3,000 to 4,000 tons. Can you walk us through what's been happening since that summer program, where we are right now, and what are the next steps?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. So we went to the number 4 level, uh, uh, and from there we looked at the old entryway, the old portal. It was collapsed, and we deemed it unsafe to try and go in and rehabilitate it. So we stepped off about 75 feet. We developed a new portal, if you will, into the mountain, and we're now drifting uh, parallel to the old workings, to the old number 4 drift. We're in right now, as of today. I spoke to the miners last night. We're in about 180 feet, and we're angling toward the old workings on the number 4, Evan. And the thought is, once we get past all of the weathering and the erosion on the outside, that potentially the old workings will still be standing. This week we're drilling probe holes towards the end of, I guess it is the end of this week, but I would say Saturday and Sunday we'll be drilling the probe holes in to make sure that we can find it. And if it looks good, then we will break through from there. That's at about 230 feet that we're going to break in. If the old workings look good, and again, they're safe, one will go in and do more sampling off of the walls and the rib. We need to go about 600 feet to hit the vein. It's like I say, we're going to break in at about 230 feet. We can do more sampling from there just by the geologist walking in. Once again, if it's safe, if it looks good, then we will go in and rehabilitate that old workings. That saved us about 50% of time and money if we can do it that way. However, if we get in there and it's collapsed through 100 years of standing still, we'll back out and we'll continue on the other 600 feet to get to the vein. And everything that we've published so far, all of the dates, all of the financing that we need are all built on the more conservative case that we have to drill through the untouched ground and get to there. Once we get to the vein, okay, we will stope up and take our bulk sample of 3,000 to 4,000 tons, and we'll run that through a test mill to make sure that the results are what we want. And just a lot of people get a mistake on this. When I say test mining, we're really staged to continue on with the mining. It's not like it's too small or it hasn't been built ruggedly enough and safely enough for mining. So we'll be ready to go as soon as we get those test results. And that'll help us with the metallurgical flow sheets we need for a larger plant.
Yeah, that's great, Joe. And again, I think we're touching on our due diligence that we've done on this property and what's so attractive. Our main goal here is to get towards that apex ore shoot, is it not?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we selected the number 4 level, and we selected this strategy because according to the old historical maps, this is where some of the highest grade was in this entire mine, and obviously that's where we want to go.
That's great, and I think that's a perfect update for our shareholders there. So let's move on and talk about some other corporate developments that have happened on this timeline. Can you update us on the hard cash property and our joint venture with Winston Gold?
Yeah, if viewers don't know, I'm also the executive chairman of Winston Gold over in Winston, Montana. And it's a very small team, and we work very closely together between Bond and Winston. We share the same technical resources, that is the geologist, the mining engineer, the mill superintendent we have to look at the metallurgy, and all of those shared services that go with it. The hard cash is a property unknown potential. Again, it's an old mine. It's about 5 miles north of the mill that Winston currently leases in Montana. We've signed that lease to do the exploration this summer. We're working with the Montana Department of Environmental Quality right now to get the drill pads, get them all ready to go and permitted. That's the word I'm looking for. And then we'll be ready to go. And we thought this was, since we have all these synergies together, that we would continue to work together well. And of course, both companies are always looking at cash and using the shared services of the two companies. and sharing the expenses of this just seemed to be a natural for us.
Yeah, you can clearly see the synergies there on the asset and the company level. Joe, there's a lot of macroeconomic headwinds happening right now, a lot of geopolitical turmoil. You've had an extensive experience working in the mining industry and with large companies. What can you bring from that experience and that toolbox down to bond resources?
I think that's a good overarching question, that really plays into the strategy of the mining piece of this business. And when I look out and again, through 40 plus years of experience with different minerals, it's, they are commodities, they are cyclical. They're never as good as people think they're going to be, and they're never as bad as people think they're going to be. So the first principle when you go into any of these ventures is your cost basis. If you got a high enough grade in your mine and you've got a low enough cost basis that you can ride through the commodity curves that will come and go as one speaks with that. And we have that very much at Bond, particularly with the width of the veins. Some of them are going 10 to 12 feet. And with the grade that we expect, we're in very good shape on the cost curve, if you will, if gold prices were to plunge. Nobody really expects that at this point in time with the macros of you read it every day. It's at every financial services. Governments are printing money. They are the social net that we need for this pandemic. And I'm not either negative or positive on it. It's just the fact that they've had to print money to support the folks that have been hit by this pandemic in such an unfortunate way. Nevertheless, government debts are going up. We seem to be heading toward a bubble in the stock market when you look forward with the forward earnings and the PE ratios that are out there that go with it. It all bodes well historically for gold to go up. And if nothing else, I think it's been substantiated that, while we had our quick rise into the $2,000 briefly, settling back in at 1,700, 1,750. I can tell you from a gold miner's perspective, that's a very good price to have. I know everybody wants to speculate on the upside. And there's a lot of reports out there on the upside. It's hard to find one on the downside, though, I will say that, which is pretty impressive right now for gold. So I think we're in a very stable environment for gold. And if nothing else, for gold prices to move up, but I never speculate on that. We build our business on a bottom case and we ride through the cycles, and we'll take the upside if it comes.
Yeah, I think that's a long-term perspective, but again, not ignoring the current fundamentals of the market and business environment. Joe, you're a large investor of the company. What are some final words that you want to leave with investors as we come to this pretty pivotal moment in the company and after our recent financings that we've done? What's your last message here, or message going forward?
Well, I think one is patience. In today's world, when people are looking at SPACs and GameStop and AMC and short squeezes and all that, this is not the business for you to be in if that's what you're looking for, is a quick rise. This is going to be a strong, steady income-based business. We're quite confident of that. It's going to take a while to develop it. I mean, the timelines we lay out, we've hit every one of them. We're very conservative in our outlook. So when you see them, you can, unless something catastrophically happens, you can bank on that as we move forward. And we'll give you all the transparency that we have. I get a lot of calls from investors and emails, and I'm happy to field them. If you send an email, you'll get me. We don't have an IR person that goes with it. So have a little patience. The development is going strong. I look forward to reporting in probably, I would say, mid-April about where we are on the development, and also if we can get in, hopefully, to do some sampling, we'll be able to report on that as well. But we'll be as transparent as possible. But we're very excited about this opportunity, about the area in Central Idaho we're in, and about all of the historical information we have on these properties that we've got.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Joe. This is Bond Resources, BJB on the CSE, and you can visit the website at www.bondresources.ca.